that very inspirational speech. Now, we would like to invite the principal of Caris International School, Dr. Debra, onto the stage to give her opening speech.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good evening. Mr. Radha, Chair of our School Board of Governors, Reverend Tay, who is a key member of the school board, and Madam Law, the President of our Parent Teachers Association, who has worked very hard with us, and we thank you for your cooperation with us. Fellow colleagues, teachers, dedicated parents, diligent students, your friends and all your supporters who are here from far and near, we thank you for coming. Tonight, as we begin this closing ceremony, the theme of our talk, our event tonight is Seasons of Life. So when we talk about seasons of life, I immediately recall our wise King Solomon said these words: "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven," which tells us that God is controlled. Not only has He created time, He is the one who's controlling time, and everything happens under the earth to fulfill His eternal plan. And for that, we take comfort in knowing that He is in control. That gives us the hope, despite the fact that seasons can change. And sometimes it changes unexpectedly. I know when I was in Liverpool, and they said in Liverpool you can have 4 seasons in a day. And I was told in Melbourne as well, you can have 4 seasons in one day. So you don't have to wait for a few months for that to happen. So let's start with the season of spring. Spring is a season of new beginnings, when everything is fresh and vibrant. It is a time of trying out our God-given senses and motor skills. Here you have someone trying to learn what taste is like, what color is like. Then you have the touch, the coordination between eyes and hands. Then a sense of color. Now, I don't know how many of you parents would really allow your children to play with color like that on the floor. And yet, this is actually the way they teach children in many schools overseas. They let them explore, try something new. Let them be creative right from young. Then we have people learning to take the first step on the stairs. I think many of us will be always scary with when their child taking the first step up and down the stairs. And yet they need to learn. They need to take up all this challenge. And as we also, in some way, experience spring season in our life, we learn to take the first step in something new that we are trying. And so as they ride, they feel the freedom of doing things. And this is the time we say it is a carefree moment. This is a time when they learn to enjoy the freedom before they become bogged down with the cares of this world. It is a time of learning through play. And actually, I sometimes feel very sorry for some of our very young children who have to go from school to tuition center and from one tuition class to another tuition class. It's as if there is no life apart from studying. And yet the psychologists will tell us that children learn a lot through play. Things that they would not learn in textbooks, they learn through play. There was one year, one of our teachers' friend who has a daughter from Scandinavia came and visited us. And she spent a few days, a week or so in our school. And we learned from this little girl, 5 or 6 years old, that she actually didn't have to learn to write. We actually make them learn to write in kindergarten. No, their class is actually held outside the classroom, outside the school sometimes. They actually take the children out to the field, to the jungle, and for them to learn how to, when they fall down, what to do, when they are together with other friends, how do they take care of each other. They learned that kind of things when they were young, rather than the ABC alone. So the next phase of life came as summertime. Summertime is a season of exploration because summer is a time when people wake up and go out. They go on holiday. They go on adventures. Young people will go camping. So this is the time of invigorating season. Everything is in full bloom. It is a season for adventures and explorations. The seasons for you to test your capabilities to see how far you can go. Buried under the book. And for you to pursue your goals in life and chase after your dreams. Sometimes, they have their own goals which may not match the parents' goals. Sometimes it's a time when they're trying to find an identity of themselves, rather than actually living out the dreams of their parents. Who am I? This is a time when you see young people may actually go into a stage where they experiment things which we know will be harmful, but they may not realize they need to taste it themselves. And that is a time when we need to help them to be careful. This is a time they may think less of the care, not totally carefree, but they still don't have a lot of care in their life. But yet we don't want them to be careless. Careless, but not careless. This is a time where relationship is important for them, so we have to help them to build their relationship in a way that is actually going to strengthen them rather than destroy them. So let's look at the next phase of our life, which is autumn. Autumn is a season of transition. That's when you see the maple leaves, the leaves changing color, and they started to fall onto the ground. It's a beautiful time. It's a time quite poetic, but it's a season of transition. As you people who graduate, what's next? What's next? After you graduate from here and then from university, what's next? And we know that unemployment rate is still high, so not everybody can get job. So you have people who are graduated with a degree and yet said, please hire me. So a degree doesn't guarantee a job nowadays. So you need more than just the paper qualification. And when you start working, there is all kinds of cares, all kinds of demand on you, all kinds of things, because as Mr. Radha said, things are happening so fast. Last time when I write a letter to my parents asking for financial assistance, it would take 7 days for the letter to go from England to Malaysia, and then wait for another 7 days for the letters to go back to England. So it would be at least 2 weeks before I get a reply. But now, 2 seconds, maybe even less than that. Okay. And then as you get further on in life, you may have a family and still working, and some of you may be still studying. There are people who are doing PhD and further degrees despite being married and having families. That's even more demand on your life. And then the demand of financial management. How many credit cards you have to settle the debt. How many bills you have to pay. Now these are things that become cares in your life. So this is a time where you're full of cares. And you need to be therefore careful in the way you manage things, your time and your resources. So this is a time which is actually a learning through adaptability. So you need to be really flexible, adaptable, being able to negotiate with other people. The skills of negotiation, the skill of managing your time and resources is very important. So that's why we said it's not just the paper qualifications. That's the autumn of your life. So what happened then to winter? People think winter is dead. I remember when my first winter in England, I look out of the window, I say, it's dead. No sound. Here in Malaysia, even late at night, I could hear all kinds of noise. But there, it was really, really, really and darkness as well. So that was the time where you actually reflect. Older people, look at yourself in the mirror and you imagine yourself, 40 years ago I was like that. Handsome, strong, healthy, able to do a lot of things. Look at me now. Perhaps, on the other hand, you would have people who are 90 odd years old and still have the heart of a young person, curious about learning things. So you can have, even in your, as you reflect, consider what kind of life you have led and what you want to prepare yourself for. Winter is a time to also care. You can care for the others who are little, or you may be cared for by other people. You don't have to be old to be needing care. Some people who are young, right from young, they needed to be cared for much more than the others. So this is the time when you reflect, and you learn through reflection whether you are going to care for others or you're going to be cared for. This is the time when you, in your reflections, you learn through the failures, the setbacks in your life, in order for you to move forward. So winter, remember, after winter is spring. And in England, the beauty about season is that your mood changes with the season. So in winter time, you look inside, it's cold, you cannot go outside, it's dark. It gets dark at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You feel like sleeping in the class because it's already dark. That's actually have the mood effect on me at that time. But when spring came, wow, my mood changed when I saw the flowers springing up from the ground. It was amazing. So it's a lesson for learning through reflections. So my dear year 11 graduates, you haven't received your results yet. It should soon be coming. As you graduate today, you are entering a new season of your life. You may not know what it will bring, but you can be sure that it will be a unique for you, and it will be a valuable experience in your life. So remember, whatever seasons you are in at this moment, whatever season, enjoy it fully. Learn through it deeply and share it generously with whatever experience you have in that season of your life, share it generously with others. And let the seasons of the life shape you. Play, build relationship, become resilient, adaptable, and become wise through reflections. Let you become what God has designed you to be. So as I say, no matter what season of life you are in now, let's focus on living out that season well. Are you in the season of spring? Learn to play. Even old people like us, we can sometimes get back to the childhood, we call it second childhood, and learn to experience your way of learning. Are you in the seasons of exploration in summertime? Then learn to invest all your energy in building up strong, lasting relationships that can stand you in time of storms. Are you in the seasons of adaptability in autumn? Then learn the skills of negotiation and embrace new opportunities to advance in life. Take up the challenge. Take up the challenge. Be resilient. Are you in the seasons of reflection, the season of winter? Then learn to forgive yourself, accept yourself, learn to forgive others, learn to take time to recharge yourself so that you may be prepared for the next cycle of season. So it's okay. In conclusion, I say it's okay to be different, to have different experience in life. But note, sometimes we may be carefree. Sometimes we may be careless or careless. Sometimes we may be careful. careful, and at times we are even cared for by other people. But whatever the season is, let us stay focused and learn to become leaders who care. Now I say this not to you, but I say it to myself. I'm a person who likes to learn many different things. I always think of myself as always a student for life. But sometimes I have to remember I've got a job. I'm not a student. When I was at university as a lecturer, I sat into the lecture hall and attended classes with the students. Because that's what I like to do. But there's come a time I have to remember I'm here to do a job as well. It's good to learn all the time. But I have a role. And I've been reminded to stay focused. So I pass on this advice to you. Be focused in whatever season of your life to optimize the learning from that season of your life. Thank you very much.